Normally I would wait to put my papers on my covers, but I have an idea for my spine, and in order to put the hinge in, I need to finish up my spine piece because I want to cover the elements in that. So I chose this paper, which is the Come Away With Me, the best is yet to see. And then on the back side I've chosen this flower print. It's not one of my favorites, but I think it works well on the back. So for my spine cover piece, I want it to cover at least a ½ inch on the side and maybe a ½ inch on the side. So let's see. About 5 inches. Okay, but I want to put a punch on it, so I'm going to do 5½ so I can put a decorative punch on each side. Let's see. How deep is my punch? My punch is ½ inch, so I need to add a ½ inch on each side. So if I want this at, say, 5 ½ so let's say 6 inches by, and we'll tack that around. So I'm going to use a piece of craft cardstock because I think that will look really nice next to that. It will stand out. So I'm going to cut this. This is a 12 by 12 sheet. I'm going to cut it down to 6 inches. And I will take my punch, and this is the Martha Stewart Swirling Lace Punch. Let's see if you can see that better. And it does have the corner edge as well, but I'm not using that right now. So I'll line this up in my punch and cut it off. Punch it out. There you go. Punch it out. Now usually what I do is I'll go down one line, but since I want to make sure this is the same, I'm going to flip it over, excuse me, and just make sure I have the right line so it lines up nicer. So it would be a mirror to each other. Excuse me. Okay, I'm back over. Punch. And I'll be back when I get this finished. Hi everyone, I'm back again. I'm going to start working on my album cover. I'm making the album first, and then when I get this finished, I will be making a chest of sorts, a hope chest for my daughter to put her keepsakes in when she goes off to college. So my spine will actually look, hopefully, like a drawer, so that it will I will attach a handle so that she'll be able to pull it out and it will look like a drawer. So I need to figure out the measurements here. I'm going to use the 8x8 papers for the front and back. I've chosen the Come Away With Me, Best Is Yet to See, and I just like all the activity on that, the bright colors, and then on the back she really liked the floral pattern paper, so I'm going to use that on the back cover. And then for the spine, I chose just to use the craft color paper, and I punched the edges. I kind of fit it to my spine and kind of shape it so I knew where it's at. I'm hoping it works out. So I was figuring this out and thinking I want to leave about 3/8 of an inch of a border. I know it's a little more than normal, but I want to utilize the entire paper pad, the full 8x8 for the pages. So the album cover will have to be a little bit longer, a little bit bigger, which is fine. And yes, the chest will probably end up being fairly huge. I'm hoping not too much so. So yeah, I'm thinking about 3/8 of an inch around will work. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, these are jumping off the shelves. So I went ahead and inked my edges. So I'm going to turn it over to the back. Turn it over to the back side. Add my score tape around the perimeter of my cover paper. You can use whatever tape works best for you. I go back and forth between score tape, miracle tape, and when I'm sticking things down like in the center here, I'll add some ATG just to make sure it's stuck down. But along the edges, I prefer to use the score tape or the miracle tape. They work best for me. Make sure you burnish your edges. Just go ahead and tape our back piece. I really like the polka dots. She wanted the flowers. So that's what we're doing. We're going to layer tape again around the perimeter of the back on the back side of it. Decorative paper, pattern paper. I've heard it called pattern paper, decorative paper, designer series paper. It's just pattern. It's pattern paper. It's paper. Paper is paper. Alright, so once that is complete, I will take my ATG. Now you need to remember, so that you don't stick them on the wrong side. If you close your book, this is facing me. This will be my front cover, so I want it on this side facing me in the right direction, and then on the back side will be the other page. So, what I like to do, and I learned this little tip and trick from Miss Ashley on Scrappa Dabba Doo's design team, is to figure out where you want your placement I said, I want to do about 3/8 of an inch around, and that looks good to me. So I will hold it down on one side and move the tape back in carefully and just stick that one side down. Then lift it up like so, and I will run some of my ATG on the inside. And we'll move the tape back in. This just helps me to keep it in place and it doesn't shift, and I don't get it all crooked. Stick it down real good, give it a good rub. Rub it for luck. Genie. Excuse me. And I'll do the same on this side. Now, since I have this side down and I want them aligned, I will usually line up my ruler as well, just to make sure I have the right measurement there. That looks pretty good to me. So again, I will remove the tape back in from one side and stick it down. Pick it up. Add some ATG underneath, just to make sure I have good stick there. Remove the tape back in. Oops, put your camera again. I'm still learning this camera thing, so please be patient. Remove the tape back in. Stick it down. And there I have my front and back covers. Nice and stuck down. Let's see, a little piece of tape here. So move that, move the big stick. Make sure I have it on this one as well. I don't want it lifting either. There we go. I want it to be able to be nice and smooth so I can slide it in and out of the drawer area. So for the back, this piece is 6 by 12 and I punched the edges. So I was trying to figure out the best way to do this, because I want full coverage. I don't want the little punched edges to come apart. Is this too wide to fit through this? Oh, it shows those. Okay, so turn it over and I will add my split tape. I'm leaving it to 12 inches long so that I can wrap it around, and I will trim off excess as needed. And it's just the image I have in my mind. I'm putting the scar tape as close to the punched area as possible, just like so. And then I'm going to run a piece right up the center, just so that it will stick there. I don't want to put it where it will be in the folds of my book, because that will tear it. So, just like this. Set my this way. Remove the tape back on, just from one side right now. I'm going to align it as centered as possible, and leaving some excess to wrap around. I'll stick that one side down. And I'll go ahead and lift and remove this tape. Tape back in from these two pieces, and I will smooth it out. When you turn it over, you'll have this and this here. I'll have both the top and the bottom excess pieces. Now, if you trim off, move this out a little bit. You trim off your excess pieces, whatever you're comfortable with working with, the excess. I usually leave a 3/4 inch, just because I know I have enough to wrap, but not too bulky. Just cut that off. Just around. Again, 3/4 of an inch, which is what I left for my perimeter for wrapping the black cardstock as well. So once I get that, I'll add some more score tape along the edge here. Just like so. And then along the bottom as well. Sorry about that, my neighbor's kids are deciding to play with their motorcycles right now. I don't mind them, but when they ride them up and down in front of my house and stir up the dust, it just drives me nuts. So I'm going to fold it over and just burnish it, kind of get it to where it will start taking form of my spine. So do that. Remove the tape back and pull it tightly, burnish it real good, and stick it down. Turn my album around. Do the same for the other side. Make sure it's burnished really well. And stick it down. There we have the front cover. Our spine piece, and our back cover. Now, for our mock handle, is what I would call it. This is a piece, let's see, it's 3/4 inches wide and 7¼ inches long. I want to just round the corners and take out the sharp ends, corners. Here, I'm going to round it with my 1/4 inch corner chopper. And this is Tyvek, and it is really neat. So when you round it, it just kind of softens it up a little bit. Makes it look more like I guess you'd call like a suitcase strap. I think it's kind of neat. It goes with this thing a little bit. It's traveling. So, so it's going to lift up just a little bit. I'm going to do, let's see. Do it 1 inch in that way. And let's see. 1 inch in that way. It sticks out quite a bit. So I'm thinking that's a little too much. I just want a little bit. So I'm going to cut it down. Let's see. Now let's take off, let's do 6 inches and see what happens. Take off a little bit at a time, not too much, until you're satisfied with the length. Okay, punch it with my corner chopper. Completely messed that up. But it's a little bit better. It's not sticking out quite as much, which is better. So I think I will stick with that. So measure in 1 inch, we go with that. Let's go 1.5 inches. This side, 1.5 inch. Oops. Yeah, I think that will work. Because then it's still in a nice little space. Not too much. So, what I'm going to do, if I can find my pencil again. I think it walked away. Oh, there it is. Alright. So our spine is 2.5 inches. So at 1¼ inches in, 1/4 inch in, your center spot. So just kind of make a light mark so we know where that's at. And then measure in, so 1.5. Just make a little mark that way. And where's my mark right there? 1.5. A little mark. Erase the other marks. And really line this out centered to that and that. Let's see if I can wrap this kind of a little better. It just seems kind of off. It would help if I had it laid in there right. If it got an angle. Much better. Okay. So there and there. Where I want to put them. I have an idea. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have an idea. That's scary, but I have an idea. I'm going to take a piece of washi tape. And I'm going to align this so that I can get the proper band that I want. It doesn't. This stuff is always hard for me to get off. So, oops. Just to hold it in place. Let's see. Like so, leaving some of the ends like that. And then I will take my big bite. I always forget the name of this thing. Let's see. And using the, oh, that's the small one. Let's see. Oh, it's a larger one. Okay. Found a couple of eyelets that I'm going to try in there. So, and that's an inch and a half. Let's see. For the 3/16 hole, I set this, set my mark on here at 1.5 inches. Let's do it 1 3/4 inches so that I can come in a little ways and align that to the center of my strap piece. Looks about right to me. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Push it down. Turn it around. Again, using my 1 3/4 mark so that they're in the same length, the same level. Let's see, is that right? No. Okay. I'm going to move that down just a smidge. Inch, 3/4 line center as much as possible. Yes. And push it down. This just kind of helps me hold it in place so that I don't have to punch my holes and then punch my strap and then try and make sure they line up. This way they line up perfectly. So then I will set this to the setting mark. I will place my eyelet inside. And oops, make sure that all the way set here. Yes. Line it. What is going on? Here we go. All the way forward. Yes, that is what we want. also done this to add charms and such to the covers. Oops, come on. I don't need it. And there we go. We have our mock handle. I had run it through my embossing folder, my Tim Holtz Damask embossing folder, just to give a little more character. So there's our handle on our spot, on our cover. Alright. Now we get to move on to adding our pages in. Now you can do it one of two ways. You can add your hinge. You can add your pages to your hinge before you put it in your book. I myself personally like to add the hinge first and then add the pages and then mat the pages. That's just my process, and it seems to work well for me. So I'm going to align this in here, top and bottom, left for a 1/4 inch at the top and bottom, because I want her to be able to put things in it and not have it smush out the top or the bottom or the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one side. I'm going to tape backing, and I'm just shifting it. Okay. Let's see. Maybe then do a little clippy days. Not there. I have a giant mess here right now, and I'm going to see if my scissors need a little clean before it averages. Alright, so a handy dandy little fix, because it works for me. Just to hold it, to make sure I have it aligned properly. It needs to come down just a little bit on this side. That looks good. Good. Maybe down just a smidge more, just like so. It's a line between my front and back covers. It's aligned top and bottom here. So I will lift one corner up, and I will remove the tape back. Stick that part down. Move that clip. And here we go. That side's stuck down, it's not going anywhere. And so now to flip it over like so, just move the tape backing. And this is my 2-inch miracle tape that I have. I covered the spinels earlier. Stick it down. I really like that. I kind of like this Craft Text stuff. It's pretty amazing. And I did not miter my edges. You want to miter your edges before you stick it down to your spine. It's a lot easier. I thought I did that, but I didn't. So I will do that now. So we don't forget here. Alright. I hate when this step just throws me off. There we go. Just miter the edges. Just helps when you're putting your pages on. Either. It's a struggle. Normally, like I said, I usually measure my edges on the corners of this before I stick it down. It's just easier. But when you're not thinking and just doing, things get missed. Okay. So if that's stuck down, make sure you burnish it well. Getting in there into your little groove there. In between each page, hinge, like so. And everyone has their own process and how they do it. They want to do the album or the cover first, and then the pages, or pages and then covers. This is just my method. It works for me. And I want to make sure my tape is well stuck to my hinge, so it doesn't come undone. Make sure I have both. I have it well burnished. Just going to clear the edges. It's going to be really stiff at first. But eventually it will relax itself and lay down like it's supposed to. And you open it up and you add your pages and all your goodies on top. Let's hope it works right. Okay, so at this point, you can choose to cover your insides. I'm going to wait until I get I find my fasteners that I want to use for my closure. So I think right now we're going to start adding our pages. So if you remember, we have 2 pages that are the envelope style pages, and they open the 4 flaps like so. And there's 2 of those, and then we have 2 that are the double pocket with double flaps like so. And pocket here and pocket here. I have 2 of those. And then I have 2 of these, or I should have 2 of these, that have the double pockets here and here. Okay. For some reason, I am missing one. I will be right back.